Hi everybody. I'm so pleased to spend a few minutes with you to share a little bit of the history of the birth of our Greater Metro West Ofakim Merkavim partnership on the occasion of its 25th anniversary. I also want to share my personal involvement in and commitment to my 25-year love affair with Ofakim Merkavim and its people. It was February 1996. As part of a national P2K program, the Jewish Agency for Israel asked Greater Metro West and Bergen County federations to visit an area in the Negev, Ofakim, which was a city, Merkavim, which was agricultural, and they were separated by one long road. My late husband Dan and I, along with Max Kleinman and David Lentz, joined a fact-finding mission to see how we all felt about forming this partnership. We were all to meet Amir, our Greater Metro West Israeli representative, at 8 a.m. in the lobby of the hotel. Dan and I, who were living in Jerusalem at the time, heard a loud noise but didn't think much about it at the time. Until we got to the hotel and saw Amir, his face, that look, and all he said was, "Pagua, terrorist attack." The number 18 bus blew up in Zion Square. Well, we all went over to the Jewish Agency, supposedly for a briefing. Israel was in shock. No one talked. If a phone rang down the hall, the Israelis sitting with us would jump, everyone waiting to hear that their family and friends are okay. So we sat around. Nobody touched the food or the soda. Nobody said a word. And we decided, let's go. We got on the van and we drove to Ofakim. We arrived at the Matnas, the JCC, where it was very festive. All the food was on the table. The kids were all in costumes. And you see, it was Purim that day. But Purim was canceled. Everyone and everywhere in Israel was quiet. But as Israelis are wont to do, life goes on. So our group toured Ofakim and met with everyone, had a somber but gracious dinner at the mayor's house with everyone. And the next day we toured Merkavim and met with everyone. We finished the day with a very lengthy discussion and wound up tabling any decision as to whether or not we should form this partnership. So we got back on the van, heading back to Jerusalem. And as we're driving, Amir runs from the back of the van to the front of the van and turned to all of us and with that same look on his face said, "Pagua." Another one. A suicide bomber blew himself up at an ATM machine in Dizengoff Square in Tel Aviv. It was 4 p.m. in the afternoon. 13 people were killed, 130 wounded. So now some folks on the van were reflecting on our earlier discussion and said, see, this is bad timing. It's not the right time for us to be creating partnerships. But it was Dan who actually stood up and said, no, this is exactly the right time for us to form this partnership. They need us and we need them. An extraordinary story. In between something as ugly as 2 terrorist attacks, a beautiful, meaningful partnership was created 25 years ago. Ofakim and Merkavim continue to thrive. Just a couple of personal reflections. Because Dan and I had made Aliyah and were living in Israel, we were able to participate in so many of the wonderful programs and projects that were developing over the years. Very early on, there was the start of the Ofakim Women's Club, and they realized that food was their common denominator. Dan and I were invited to a Hanukkah party, 35 women from 14 countries, and they each made a family recipe of sufganiyot, donuts. We had to taste every one of them delicious. These women wound up forming a catering business, and eventually one woman named Osi carried on the catering business by herself. She was recently honored by Israel as the Female Small Business Entrepreneur of the Year. We are very proud of Osi and her accomplishments. And at another time, Dan and I were at an after-school project that focuses on young girls at risk. I asked the director, what do they do for dinner for these kids? And she said, they provide what they can. So I asked if they would like to order pizza for the girls that night. She was thrilled, and so were the kids. And when the pizza arrived, one of the young girls came over to me and with this sweet look on her face, took my hand and asked me if I would eat pizza with her. Through the director, who was translating for both of us, the child said that she has never had dinner with anyone else. This was just a small gesture of ordering pizza that made such a difference. Sorry. And now, because of these efforts of so many here and in Israel, lay and professional, and especially our women's philanthropy, Greater Metro West has a Merkaz Isha, a women's center, in Ofakim. It's been through these events and gatherings that we formed lifelong friendships and realized how important and how much our personal and our Greater Metro West involvement meant to this community. My personal summation, let's see if I can do this. 25 years ago, we came to a place in Israel that we never heard of and didn't know where it was, and it has now become our home. We met strangers whose paths we never would have crossed, and they have become our family. We dared to make a difference in the Negev, and it is, in fact, blooming. For me, it's been a magical journey. Happy 25th anniversary to our partnership. Wait, I'm not done. 25 years ago, our partnership began with Amir. In Hebrew, powerful. And we have a meet. In Hebrew, friend or colleague. And for all these years, we've been so fortunate to have Michal. In Hebrew, brook. The flowing water that connects one end to the other. So descriptive, and this says it all. But Amit, personally, I will really miss your always wonderful and wise political assessments and explanations about Israel, like what's really going on, especially today. And we all know that among your many attributes, your extraordinary wisdom will accompany you and your family in all of your future choices, endeavors, and achievements for the rest of your journey. You make us proud. V'chatzlacha, toda rabah, neshikot, and lahitraot. So long, my friend. We will see you in our homelands soon.